Welcome to the channel and welcome to the show. Femininity and masculinity. I've been wanting to do a video on this for a long time, but I was a bit hesitant because there's already so much content online telling you how you should behave in accordance with your gender. There's a lot of advice from a lot of people. So this video is going to be a bit different than those other videos because I'm not going to tell you how I feel that you should behave. No, I'm gonna look at the sources with you, the Norse sources, see what they tell us about men and women because they were created by Odin, the Allfather, gave us life. And if you look at that story, you can get some clues about how our ancestors, and possibly even the gods, view us as male and female humans and how we can make the best out of that life. That's the first part of this video. The second part of this video, I'm going to give you a symbol. I'm going to give you a symbol which symbolizes masculinity, and I'm going to give you a symbol that represents femininity. Now, if you really connect to those symbols, and if you understand those symbols, you will understand masculinity and femininity. So it's not me teaching you, it's the myths teaching you, and it's the symbols teaching you, as very well it should be. Now, first I want to address something. Like I said before in the beginning, there is very much content telling you how to behave, especially on YouTube. YouTube is a predominantly masculine space in the sense that the viewers of YouTube are predominantly male. I don't know why that is, that's just how it is. And so there are lots of videos telling you how to be a real man. Now, these people are usually selling you something at the same time. But the reason why there are so many people online is because there is a demand. Because every culture around the world tells stories, and it tells the same story. It tells a story of a young man who has to leave his safe enclosure and has to heed the call to adventure. A young man who has to tear himself loose from the gravity of opinions of other people in order to become something new. And as a society, in Western society, I believe we have stopped telling that story. And because we have stopped telling that story, we have a lot of young men who are looking like, and now what? So they come and they find these people online. But the reason there's such a demand for this is because we stopped telling these mythological stories. We stopped talking about the hero's journey. And it's very important for everybody, but especially for men. Okay. Creation time. A creation story. Odin made the first man and the first woman. He made man out of an ash tree, and he made a woman out of an elm tree. Now, I already like this story better than the Christian one, because the Christian one is believe man was made out of clay by God, and the woman was made out of one of the ribs of the man, which automatically gives kind of the feeling that not only are men and women not the same, but you kind of feel like the woman is inferior because she wasn't made out of just one part of man could make a woman. But the Norse Germanic myth is very different. We are both made, men and women, from a tree. But we're made from a different tree. So like I said, the ash tree is what created men. The ash tree is also Yggdrasil, the connection between heaven and earth, the connection between all of the 9 worlds. It is a tree of life and death. And in olden times that certainly was true, because oftentimes it were the men who went to war, who went raiding. It was the men who choose between life and death. Now, if you look at the elm tree, the symbolism of the elm tree is more like, it's also a connection between heaven and earth, which I really like. But the elm tree is a tree which is more associated with softness and protection. Now, softness you can kind of associate with women, because they tend to be a bit more attentive and caring naturally than men in general. But the protection part, for us in modern Western civilization, you go like, because it's usually the men that, go to war and protect the family. But I believe that the protection they're talking about in this case is more of a spiritual protection, because it was oftentimes the women of the tribe, or let me be specific, certain women of the tribe that had the gift, that were thought to be the Saitkonas, the Troridas and the Mekridas of the tribe, meaning the seers and the healers. But I believe it's a reference that our ancestors understood that when it comes to intuition, nothing like a woman's intuition. So that's why they're associated with protection. They can protect the family spiritually, and the man is in charge of life and death, meaning he can protect them physically. Together, they can protect the family so that the next generation can thrive. It's almost like the women have the vision and the men, they have the execution. But that's just my interpretation. So, masculinity and femininity, I was going to give you a symbol. I have a symbol for you here. You all know it. You all love it. De moker van Donar. Yeah, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. This, by the way, is a fantastic piece that I ordered on Instagram by a chap called Blago Wood. This is a very good symbol when it comes to masculinity. Well, because it's very direct. And the god that it's associated with, Thor or Donar, the god of thunder, is also a god known for being very direct. That's why he always has troubles with Loki, because Loki is very indirect, very sneaky. It's direct because it can pound you in the face. But it's also used, in olden times, Thor's hammer, to hollow, to make certain things holy. If you swear an oath, you can swear it on top of Thor's hammer. You can bless a marriage under Thor's hammer. And why is that? One of the requisites for making something holy is that there's a parameter that is held, that there are no evil influences coming inside. Thor's hammer, sign of protection. It can keep the evil things away, just like a good man can. Learn and understand Thor's hammer, and I think you get a better grasp of masculinity. Now, second part, femininity. How you like this? We call it in Dutch a sikkel. I believe the English word is a sigh. This is associated with the Germanic deity called Frau Holle. Now she has many shapes that she can show herself to you. She can come as a white maiden with the sigh. She can come as a red mother with two sighs. Or she can come as the Veleda, as the healer herself. But then she doesn't have a sigh, she has a stick. So how does this translate to femininity? Well, the hammer is direct. Boop. Is this also direct? No. This is used to cut the wheat, but it's used in a very sweeping motion. So it's just very in tune with flow, and it's not directly. You're not grabbing it and just being all direct and being all crude like a man would be. This is very smooth. This is very feminine. I believe this symbol, if you understand it, you can understand femininity. very powerful, but a lot more indirect and a lot more gracious. I think that's a good note to close it on. A lot less direct and a lot more gracious. I think that's a good ending. If you like this sort of content, please consider subscribing. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you all in a week. En ga met de goden. Go with the gods. Alu, alu.